This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So now again, the second thing is, first of all, the system, in order to build confidence in the system. So now what we are trying to say here is, again, the customer goodwill, as you do chaos engineering, what you are trying to build is the confidence in the system as such. Because if your system is working properly, if your system is more resilient, more reliable, you will be very much it will be very easy for you to understand the system, to develop new things. You get more, if you are more confident about your system, you will scale the system very fast, right? Because otherwise you will always be like, what you will try to do is you will go slow, without I meant there will be limitations, like you for applying any new technology, because you don't know how to test it, or you don't know what will happen if I go with this technology very far. Like I have seen with many clients, like they especially the banking clients, if you see, they don't want to go from mainframe to cloud. They are still stuck with the old technology of mainframe, and they are afraid, as like when we speak to them, like they are very much skeptical to go to cloud. So such things we can avoid, like by bringing confidence in the system, like to adopt new technologies. So that will always be a good thing for both people. Like first, we can optimize our clients, we can add value to our client by bringing in new technologies. Second, we can also improve our the with respect to our organization. Like we can also grow because we are bringing new projects for our organization by implementing new technologies. So that will also, it's like a two-way, like win-win situation. Then third one, third keyword is turbulent conditions. So what we mean by that is, it's a noise, it's a chaos. So what we are testing here is any noise or anything which is going wrong in the system, um, due to some, like we are trying to imagine things in such a way that this something will go wrong, or something which has gone already wrong. Like some outage happened recently, like maybe a month back. You are trying to replicate those outages or those issues. Why that happened? Because support team surely would have analyzed it, and they will be having some reason why that outage happened. So you can simulate those and find out how which all ways you can fix those. So that's a turbulent condition which you are trying to fix. Like if this noise happens, your system should withstand or should recover properly from that issue, and that should never affect the end user. Like when that issue is happening, your user should never feel it that this is happening. And third and the fourth keyword is production. So always chaos engineering, the final goal, or we can say the agenda, will be production. So always we need to run the test in production. And it's not, as I said, it's not all the test, but in production is our final goal. We need to run the test in production. It's not like we can't do any test, we will do all the tests in lower environment itself. No, we will have to showcase our tools, our findings in production, but very safe way as possible, because we don't want to break the production at all. Yes, and second point, controlled and planned chaos engineering experiments. So here, one thing we need to understand, though we are speaking about chaos every time, we will never be doing anything random or uncontrolled or unplanned. Always things what we will be doing is always, it will be planned properly. What our objectives, our goals, everything is very clear to us, and it will be really controlled. It's not like I'm attacking a microservice and suddenly some other microservice fails. Yeah, it can be due to the reliability issues, but it shouldn't be due to our experiment, like due to our attack. So it should be really controlled, planned. So how do you control your experiments? Using the tools. You need to understand the tools very well. You need to what all chaos engineering tools we have. So that way you control your experiments. Then preparing for unpredictable failure. So whenever you are doing chaos experiments, you basically, what you are trying to understand is, uh, whenever some unpredictable failure happens, how you react, or how your team reacts, or how team behind it, or how you fix that issue, right? So first of all, you can fix that issue for any unpredictable failure by simulating those. Second, you can fix the process, like you can bring up a process where if some issue happens at all, it will be resolved in as much early as possible. Like if it takes 30 minutes to resolve that, you will bring down that time to 5 minutes using some technique or some methods. By that is next, it's a fixing stage, but before that you need to find the issue. So that's what you will do mainly. Then preparing engineers for failure. So this is again a mentality issue, right? Like though some issues will happen, and when it's like firefighting. So though fire doesn't occur, we still have this fire drills, right? Fire drills, what they do, like they will help us to understand when a real fire will happen, what needs to do. So similarly, our chaos engineering experiments will help the engineers also prepare for the failure. Like we can keep a real fire drill sort of thing, chaos experiments, where if this issue happens, how we need to how we need to resolve that issue from starting to end as a real issue is happening. We can simulate that in that way. Then preparing for game days, we'll see what is a game day. Again, we run the test in production, so that's called game day. So generally these are the things which we need, which forms the fundamentals for chaos engineering. Okay. Before I go to more here, let me quickly show you. So this is a typical Gremlin dashboard. Okay, so I will be going deep in this, but since before I don't want to go more theory today, don't want to bore you on. So little bit I will go show you a tool part. So when you open Gremlin, you land on this dashboard. It has different things. First of all, in the dashboard, you can see the services running, what all services, or like what all services are being run in your system. So if you have a Kubernetes cluster, it will have different microservices or services, right? So it will list down all the services here. Then if you go to the dashboard, then the targets are there. Targets are nothing but where the system or the machines which you are targeting or which you are going to attack. Okay, so since we haven't like the machine which um, this 10 or whatever machine is this one is not working now, I meant it's switched off, so that's why it's showing idle. Okay, if it was working, it would be showing available, like there will be one it will be in green. Okay, you will be able to show see that here. So there are so this way the Gremlin looks, right? Then there are different things here, like clients will show different targets which you have. Again, based on the Kubernetes or containers or Dockers, there are different hosts you will have, right? Those hosts will be here. Now what happens in free version is, free version you can get only two hosts, like I meant only two targets you can attack at once. So if you have more than two targets, you can't attack those targets. So free version has that limitations. Rest there is no limitation, you can do whatever you want.
So how long validity we have with free version?
It's unlimited, like there's no validity on that. You can use it however long you want. Only thing is there is only two targets possible. Like you can't go more than two targets with free version.
So do we need to install any agent on those machines where we are going to simulate that?
Yeah, so we don't need to yeah, correct. So that we will be showing, we will be installing a Gremlin daemon, a Gremlin agent onto those, not those machines. Like sometimes it becomes little, people get worried, like if there's a Kubernetes cluster, there are 20 machines, how do we need to do it on all 20 machines? No, what you need to do is for each different types of machines, we have different types of ways to install Gremlin. For a host, we have a different way. For container, we have a different way. For Kubernetes, we have a different way. So everywhere you need to do only once the process, like whatever we are trying to, and it's a agent. So Gremlin agent is the thing which will be creating this, which will be simulating those attacks when we do.
So who will install those agents for us?
Yeah, that's why. So in this course, I will be showing that too, like how to install that agent on, and it's a very much universal process, very simple. Like it doesn't change much. Only thing is generally 99% time the issue comes if when you are running those commands or when you're installing the Gremlin agent is access. Like if you don't have a proper role access in that machine, then issues might come. But generally, if you have no access issues, it's very simple. So whatever I'll be showing, you can just apply directly. Like if you have a Kubernetes cluster, when we go to the Kubernetes part, when we are installing Gremlin onto the Kubernetes, you can just directly just blindly copy paste my commands also. It will work.
So do we install in in VM level or container level?
We install it in the, so that's what. So Kubernetes, we will be using something called Helm. If you'd have heard, it's a Helm chart, right? So we use Helm to install it onto the Kubernetes, and it's a VM level.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then we have the different types of attacks we can run. There are CPU attacks. If you see, like what we can do is we can increase the CPU utilization from whatever percentage we want. So we give those attributes here, like what was the CPU capacity we need, for how long that test needs to run, and those. Then we will get some logs which will show like whether that attack was successful or not. These logs are not that helpful as such because it gives limited details. So more logs you need to get from your monitoring tool, whatever you have. So and also you can get more logs from the, like let's say you are running some Kubernetes experiment, like you are running the CPU utilization or the memory testing in Kubernetes. So you can get more details by going onto that machine, entering like just studying that, describing that pod, finding out what all issues it, like what all logs are there in that. So in that way, so here as such you won't be getting much of a log. But if your system is on AWS, like what happens is if your application is hosted on AWS, automatically Gremlin will give the link, which I will show you when we run a test. What happens is Gremlin will automatically give the link to the AWS CloudWatch. So there, whatever you are testing, you will get those graphs directly from that link. If you click on that link here, it will take you to that graphs directly. So that those things are there. We'll be going in deep. I was just wanted to show you how the tool looks, what all the functionalities we have. You can create scenarios here. We will be seeing what are scenarios, how to do that. Different attacks are there. CPU latency, you can generate latency, you can generate network, you have black hole attack, you have different types of attacks. Even there is something called we call it like we can attack the clocks also. We call it time travel attacks are also there, which is unique to the chaos engineering. And there are some reports like how much attacks you ran per month, clients, some users, and all those. We will be seeing everything that, because Gremlin, first of all, we'll be seeing on different systems how to implement Gremlin and how to attack. Second, we will be seeing how to automate our experiments using CI/CD pipeline and all. Third, we will also be seeing the APIs, like there are Gremlin APIs. So how we can integrate Gremlin with respect to our already available tools, like how chaos engineering and performance can be integrated. Like whenever you run a performance test, how you can run the chaos experiment also together and get into some good results. Like you generate the performance will generate the traffic and chaos will generate the latency, let's say. So and we can study the combined effect. So those things, how to do that. So those things, everything we'll be seeing in the coming sessions. Yeah, so yeah, so that's about Gremlin. This is how Gremlin looks. Then the second thing is we'll be looking into Chaos Toolkit. So Chaos Toolkit is mainly, it's very much sort of like it's what we can say, like it's more sort of a command based. Okay, so because it's an open source tool, there is no GUI as such in Chaos Toolkit. So if you see Chaos Toolkit, you just need to have a machine and you can install Chaos Toolkit using the pip install Chaos Toolkit. So it will install the Chaos Toolkit, and over to that we have different things we need to do. For running some experiment, we need drivers and all. So we'll be seeing that. So how do, and it's more based on Python language. So if you see the code for the test, like in Chaos Toolkit, it will look something like this. So here in Gremlin, you are just going to attacks, clicking on the attack, new attack, and running it. But in Chaos Toolkit, you need to write a code like this. But it is like a template. I meant it doesn't change much. So if you see here, this is a JSON file. Then there is a YAML file also. So what happens is, like if you see the YAML here, this template remains same, but you need to add these providers, you need to add based on the attacks, whatever you do. So there are some standard formats available, but later on what happens is there are limitations sometimes, because you if you are not that much good in Python, it becomes a little difficult to write these codes. But if the attacks are very common ones, like which are already being done, like some terminating a pod or increasing the CPU and all those, and there are already available code which I will be giving some set of 20-30 codes I already have developed. I'll be sharing with you all those codes also, so that it will be become handy for you later on when you apply in your project. Directly you can use these codes, don't need to write. So
So
that is with respect to Chaos Toolkit. Yeah, Vinod.
yeah, Vishnu, I'm little bit confused here. So this is toolkit is going to use for the CI/CD pipeline when we are going to implement, right? Because we already have a GUI, right?
No, no,
So
yeah. So Gremlin is a different tool. Chaos Toolkit is a different tool. I hope that I said right. Chaos Toolkit is a totally different tool. Gremlin is a totally different tool. Both are chaos engineering tools.
oh, okay. So this is entirely different and it's open source. This is whatever
This
you
is
are saying.
open source. Yeah, this is open source. Only thing is there is no GUI. You have second thing is you need to understand a bit of a Python for that. But as I said, like there are already available codes which if you know to run those initially, that is also fine. Like you just need to play with the code here and there, not like full code you need to know like how to write. You can just add those parts of code to this and then run those experiments.
So
But
there
yeah,
are
it is, yes,
okay. So you are trying to say there are two different tools to
correct,
initiate the chaos engineering, right?
correct, yes.
Oh,
One
okay.
is
So
open source,
oh,
paid,
this is
yes.
okay. So okay. So this is open source. Okay. And again, the same similar way, like we have to install the agent over there for this free tool also.
Yeah, correct. We need to install Chaos Toolkit. And once Chaos Toolkit is installed, these files are the one which will be instructing it what attack we are running, how to attack, and all those things.
So which one is the best? Either we have to go by enterprise one or whatever the toolkit you are showing.
Actually, my client has lot of money, so they never thought about applying Gremlin much. But I will say it's based on the client what you have. So what you can do is Chaos Toolkit is also fine, because what happens sometimes client thinks about the ROI, the return on investment, because when they're applying a new thing, right? So my students, what I say to them is always go with the proof of concept with Gremlin free version. Then what you can do is, if you want to showcase more on what different types of attacks for some more scaled things like more targets, you can add Chaos Toolkit and showcase that too. Then once your client gets that, okay, there is a value being added, then they will surely go for the Gremlin paid one. Like it's based on your how you handle your client. So if they don't want to spend on the tool, go with the Chaos Toolkit. But if they are okay to spend on the tool and they look more forward to the time, to the security, to the support which you get from Gremlin, yeah, so it's in that way.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, because
Now
this
I
is
got
open source, right? So this
it. Okay,
code is open to everyone. So the security we can't guarantee, right? How well the secure this tool is. And this Chaos Toolkit is also it's like 2 3 years, 2 years maybe in the market, 3 years. So the community is also very small. So you will have to spend a lot of time if you want to simulate some new type of attack or something new which is not available in the codes uh, generally. So those
oh,
things you
okay,
need to, yeah.
okay. So you can compare Jmeter or LoadRunner, right? So
Yes,
LoadRunner is a
correct.
kind of it. Okay, okay, got it.
But really, one thing is there. I always have seen lot of open source tools, but I don't know, somehow Jmeter is Jmeter doesn't at all look like open source tool to me. It has like a lot of good things, giving a real tug of war with respect to the pro tools. Like the community is really good for Jmeter, but other open source tool like Chaos Toolkit, it's not at all comparable with the Gremlin because um, so here there's a catch. The catch is Chaos Toolkit is really highly customizable. Okay, so the catch here is if you are a very advanced Chaos engineer, Chaos Toolkit will help you a lot. Like for customizing things, for adding new out of the blue attacks also. Like some imaginary attacks you can create using Chaos Toolkit. But Gremlin limitation is Gremlin provides around 12 attacks. So you can use only those attacks, the combination of those attacks and all those things. But what happens is if when you go for advanced like an SRE role and all, you might need to insert some very high-end attacks. High-end, what I meant to say is code level attacks. So those you can't simulate using Gremlin because here the customization is not there. It's a paid tool, right? The code is not available to you.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But you have to be expert on these writing the code. Initially, you can start with the Gremlin, and after that, once you will feel confident about all the scenarios, all use cases, then you can come up here, right?
Correct, correct. But better to learn and keep it because what happens is if you don't know this open source, it's like in the market, like is generally we need to know one open source and one paid at least, right? So better to know how things happen, some basic experiments if you can run on Chaos Toolkit, that will help.
Yeah, sure. I'm just curious to know how costly this Gremlin tool. It's super costly.
Not super costly. It's based on how much targets you want to achieve. Like if you speak to the team, they will give some customized offers also because they want to grow right nowadays. That field is growing, so they are giving good offers also. So based on the attacks, like now if we consider my project, what I have, we work with around 15 to 20 microservices. Then there are some microservices also for our client and that the number of hosts if you see there what we are attacking targets is around 120 to 130 targets, so it's a huge with respect to the targets. Okay, so the cost is little bit high, but if your targets are, and as I said it's really customizable and I can't say a number now because it changes. So and even they say like it's confidential because they tailor make it based on the client, if the organization and multiple things. So
Okay,
yeah, but it's not that costly. Like if you take some LoadRunner or Performance Center licenses and all, no, it's not that costly.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, then let's stop for today here. Let's continue tomorrow. If
Sure.
no question, we can stop. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then thank you all.